Hi, hello, and good morning. I'm not going to edit this video, so there's going to be some there's going to be some pauses. This is my house. I have no makeup on. I'm sitting on my couch. I didn't want this to be like a super orchestrated video. I just wanted it to be kind of like an honest conversation. Oh, Jesus. And an insight as to where I've been and what's to expect and what's to come. So it's funny because I just went on a walk with my dog. And I rehearsed what I was going to say in this video because I've just been so kind of at a loss for words and kind of, I don't know why I'm so afraid to talk about all this. And of course my dog's going to drink water. So just go lay down, dude. I've been so afraid to talk about this, and I'm going to explain why, and you'll understand kind of where I'm coming from this in a second. But without further ado, I just need to fucking say all that. I just need to say it. I just need to fucking say what I need to say. The last 6 months, you guys probably can tell on my social media, I've changed a lot. I don't post my face a ton. I'm not doing a lot of talking head videos. I'm just not showing up on social media the way that I used to. And I just had a huge breakthrough with my therapist yesterday as to kind of why. And I want to tell you why. So I'm going to give you the history of everything. This is a long-winded video. It's going to be long. Please, see if you can fast forward through this and just listen through it, but whatever. In June of last year, I lost my father. And I didn't just lose. My dad didn't just die. I was holding his hand up until he took his last breath. I was with him until he left this earth. And if anyone has ever seen someone pass away, it's probably the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but it's also quite awful to watch someone leave this earth. And that circumstance changed me tremendously. For the obvious reasons that watching someone pass away is very traumatic. But the other way, because my father and I didn't have a relationship for 20 years. My dad and I, we didn't speak. And it's because his addiction to alcohol and his addiction to his self-pity, honestly. And his addiction to self-destructive behaviors, the man was just not strong enough to get out of it. And towards the end, we made amends. He reached out to me and he said sorry for all the things that happened. I said sorry for all the things that happened between us too. And we were able to make amends. And for the year and a half, I got to have my dad back. And I love my dad. My dad and I'm spitting image of him. I am my father's child. And it's funny because my mother raised me, but I turned out just like my dad. His creative side, his mindset. My dad was so unapologetic. My dad didn't give a fuck what people thought about him. He was this giant 6'3" Australian dude who he just did not care, and he always did what was best for him. And I get that from him, and I'm spitting image of him. But nonetheless, that in that instance, that mending a relationship with a parent is hard enough in and of itself. But the love this unconditional love that I've always had for him still existed after 20 years of not talking and 20 years of pain and hurt. And I remember when he called me, we had our first conversation and he told me everything about everything. And he just cried because he said he held on to this for 20 years. We had 20 years to tell me all these things, 20 years to tell me the truth, and 20 years to, tell me that he loved me. And he waited. And that instance changed me. Not only, like I said, because of our relationship, but when he left, when my father took his last breath, this part of me went with him. And this part of me went with him was the part of me that was angry and that was resentful and that was sad and brash and this harsh person, Zeus. It went with him. So this angry version of myself no longer exists. And that is what most people know. And that is what I've known. That's all I've ever known. I accidentally pressed pause. Whoops. That's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever known about myself. So then when he left, it was like this weight kind of went with him. And as sad as it was to lose my father, it was also very cathartic because he was in a lot of pain. He suffered with cancer for 10 years. The man kept fighting, and honestly, he fought until I got there. And that is a true testament of love. That is a true testament of how love works and how love is unconditional, and how regardless of how someone can hurt you, you can still hold a lot of love for them. And he did. I hurt him by, not being there for him when he went through all these things and whatever. But still, at the end of the day, we still loved each other. And it was a very beautiful thing to experience and a very beautiful thing to feel. And it felt like, it's so funny when I was thinking about what I was going to say in this video, the best example that I can explain how, what happened is the Grinch. Fun fact about me, I know every single word to the Grinch. Every single word. I love the Grinch. I love the Grinch. It is my favorite movie on planet Earth. But you know how he's this very bitter, hurt man, and hates Christmas, and hates people and hates connection. That was me. And then when my dad passed is when, the Grinch's heart grew 10 sizes that day, and he could feel it. He was crying, and he was like, my eyes are leaking, that is literally what happened. That's the best way I can explain kind of what happened. So as my dad passes away, I now have a connection with my stepmom. I'm reconnected with two of my brothers, and we talk every day now. And I just have the hate that filled my heart got replaced with love. And that changes you. That totally changes you. So with that, now I'm feeling this new version of myself, right? But ultimately, a lot of the things that I was doing prior don't align, because a lot of the projects and a lot of the things that I was doing, the driving force was this angry, upset version of myself. And my good friend Rebecca Taylor, I did a podcast episode with her. She saw right through me. She knew exactly what I was talking about, and she saw me for me. And that instance really changed me and helped me kind of get the courage to talk about what I'm talking about on this video. Because she knew who I was prior, and she knows who I am now. And she knew exactly what I was going through based on who she saw now. So thank you, Rebecca Taylor, for helping me kind of get the courage to talk about this, because, it's hard. It's hard because, and you'll see why. But anyway, so now these things don't align with me. A lot of the things that I was doing in the past don't align with me, and I need to change. But amid all this, I'm in a relationship, and I love this person. I love this person a lot. But in that relationship, I gave all of me to this person in hopes that they would change, in hopes that they could be the person that I needed them to be. And I lost myself. I lost myself in that relationship. And I lost part of who I am. I lost my confidence. I lost a lot. But ultimately, I love that person, and I have so much love for them. And I do truly believe love can heal, and love can be forgiving, and love can be these things. But there has to be, I learned through my father's death, there has to be certain steps and certain things that have to happen for those things to happen, for love to prevail. And those things weren't happening, and that's okay. So my father passes away, and then I realize I need to get out of this relationship because it doesn't align with who I am. So I get out of the relationship. And through those two huge pieces, I'm like, Lisa, you need to go to therapy. You need help. And my best friend, Kira, I'll never forget it. I came home from my travels when I was in Greece, France, Europe. I was everywhere in September. I came home, and I was a shell of a human. And she stayed after work one day, and I remember she was like, you need help. And I was like, excuse me? She goes, what are you doing? Look at you. You look empty. And I was empty. And she was right. So I went back to therapy. And when I approached my therapist, this is the coolest part about all this that I've really, really enjoyed. I went back to my therapist because I knew I needed help, but I knew what it looked like. I think it's because I've just done so much work on myself, and I know, I just know what I want, But also, I apologize. Zeus is going to start chewing on his bone. He does this whenever I'm not paying attention to him, so I apologize if it is loud. But I knew based on the experiences that I just had and like my dad's experience and whatever, it softened me tenfold. I no longer am this like Billy badass, brash, like hard person. That person doesn't exist, and I don't want to be that person. So when I went to my therapist, I told her, Zeus, stop, baby. Sorry, it's going to get louder. Come up here. Come up. Come to mama. Come on. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I had to cut it again because whatever. But went to her and I told her I want to be a soft person. So I told her I want this to be the hardest transition of my life because I want to forget everything that was and I want to be a new person. And I'm not because I don't like who I am, not because of that. It's because I'm very secure with my career. I know a lot about my career. I'm very confident as myself as a hairdresser, and I have no problems with that at all. The problem that I have is connection. I'm very flighty. I don't let people in. I do not get close to people that I am close with. I'm very, very, very selective. And I give up. I give up on love because I know where that comes from. And it's because I begged both of my parents my whole life. Choose me over the addiction. Choose me over alcohol. Choose me over the drugs. Choose me over the men. Choose me over the sex. Choose me over it all. And they couldn't. So I know where that comes from. I know where my flightiness comes from. I know as soon as I see one little sign, I'm out. And I healed a lot of that when my father and I didn't think I was getting emotional. Oh, I am. I healed a lot of that when my father and I reconciled. Oh, fuck. Not that I don't want to be emotional in this video, but that's not the point. So I found myself, like, in that instance, I kept finding people that would not choose me over their own vices. And that was a problem that I had. So that was one part of the reason why I went back to therapy. Oh my God, I totally lost my train of thought because I was not expecting that to come out of my mouth or for even me to realize. So this is why I do social media, is because social media helps me heal. When I talk about these things, it helps me heal. It helps me get through a lot of the things that I go through. But anyway, I go to therapy and I'm like, I want to be this different person. And I want it to be hard. I want it to be challenging because I need to unlearn a lot of these things and I want to investigate it. So I have been. And I'm very happy to say that I am the softest I've ever been. I don't hold any anger towards people of my family or past relationships or even towards my father. All I hold is love. The hate that was in my heart got filled with love. And I love myself more than I ever have in my life. Oh my God. Get it together, Lisa. Good God. I love myself more than I ever have in my life. And I'm confident. Like I think a lot of my brand was built on this confidence that was real, but it came from a sense of having to prove myself to people. And I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I fucking love who I am. I love that I'm soft. I love that I know what I want. I love that I know what it looks like. I love my passion for my job. I know that I'm a good leader. I know that I'm a good person. I know that I'm a good friend. I know that I'm a good mentor. I know that what I do and what I bring to this earth are positive lights. And I truly believe that. And it's funny because somebody said something to me the other day and they were like, you're such a total package. Like, how are you like not wed and all that fun stuff? And I was like, it's because I know what I want. And I know that I'm these things. And I refuse to settle for anything less. And all of this to say, why does this apply to my social media? Because my social media was and is a place for me to talk right? Like, that's what I use my social media for, is to talk and to be vulnerable and to be open and to be honest and to shed light and to give you my ideologies and to whatever, to talk. But my social media was also driven by this piece of me that felt like I needed to prove myself to others. And I also needed the validation. And both of which of those things are gone. I don't need the validation, nor do I need to prove anything to anyone. Truly, for the first time ever in my life. And so when all of my social media has been that, now it's not. It is so hard to show up the way that I was. And I was explaining this to my therapist too. I was like, the person that I was prior to June 21st, 2024 doesn't exist. And it feels like I'm at war with myself. This old version of me wants to cling to who I am now, but this new version of me wants nothing to do with her. But I'm so unfamiliar with this new version of me that I don't know, like, I don't even know what to do with her, but I really enjoy her. She's very confident. She's very calm, she's very somber. She's very soft. She, like, they say, like, you're soft, or like, no, I truly am in that position. And another part of this too that's been kind of difficult is I don't identify with a lot of my tattoos anymore. I use my tattoos as a way to heal parts of my life. And I don't necessarily identify with how hard it makes me look. And I love my tattoos, don't get me wrong. Like, I think my tattoos are part of my identity and I love them. I'm not going to, discredit them. But I had them. I made a post about this a while ago. I had tattoos so I could hide. I had tattoos so that way people couldn't see me. People always saw the art. Whereas now I want to be seen as me. So I struggle with it because I used these to hide, and now I don't want to hide anymore. I want to be as authentically as I am because that's my fucking brand. Be so unapologetically yourself that it inspires others to do the same. That is literally my slogan. That is my MO. That is my tagline. And how that looks now is totally different to what it was. And showing up online looks so different. And I think the reason why it's been so hard is because I'm scared. I'm so scared. And my therapist said it best. She's like, you can be strong and scared at the same time. And that's what I am. I am strong, but I am so scared. I'm scared because the way that I built my platform came from like this angry, like Rage Against the Machine type of fucking thing. And that doesn't exist anymore. And I don't want to be that anymore. I want to create more conversation. I want to be softer. I want to be more gentle. I don't feel the need to prove anything. And this is like applicable for every part of my life. Great example, Straight Outta Cosmo. The reason why I started Straight Outta Cosmo is because I hate BTC. I hate BTC. I think it's a terrible company. I think what it stands for is awful. And part of the big reasons why I started Straight Outta Cosmo is because I want to be the new BTC. And I will be one day. But that was the big reason why. And obviously to help my community, but the driving force was I was going to stick it to them and be like, you know what? I can create a way safer community and a better community for my team and my people and you guys, right? But that driving force is gone. I don't give a fuck about BTC. Fuck them. Who cares, But now it looks totally different. The way that I want to support you guys, the way that I, show up with my education company, it looks totally different. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But that's like a great example. Like every driving force of every single one of my projects are different. And also, I'm no longer just a slave to my job. I want to potentially get married, I want to get married. I want to maybe have a family, like a child. I've never fucking said that ever in my life. If you would have told me that I was going to say this out loud one day, I'd laugh at you. I never, ever, ever wanted to get married and have kids and like be close with people and have connection with, come on. Sorry, he just wants to come up here. And have connection with, like, I never fucking wanted that. But now I do. So my goals and just the things that I'm doing just look so different. Isn't that right, honey? Isn't that right, sweet boy? I love this dog more than I love life. He's the fucking best. Wow. And the reason why this video was just so fucking hard for me to do is I've been vulnerable about like my family. I've been vulnerable about my divorce. I've been vulnerable about like a lot of other things. But this level of vulnerability takes the cake. I have never been this vulnerable with myself, let alone be vulnerable with a community that I've built. And I want to change that. That is, you know, a big reason why I'm doing this video and why I wanted to talk about this. And I want to peel back the curtain. I want to show you guys more about myself. I'm a lot more normal than people might think. And I'm tired of thinking I have to be so fucking different. I have to go against the grain. I have to be so, you know, different than the rest to like live this life. I'm tired of that. I don't want to do that anymore. So moving forward, I'm starting the vlogs, and that is a big project that I've been wanting to do. Just show you more about like my day-to-day life, who I am as a person. And I want to do that because it will help me. Honestly, like selfishly, the reason why I do social media is to help me. It helps me understand who I am, and it helps me navigate things. It helps me learn things about myself. And ultimately, you guys get to be part of that journey to also help yourselves. And the reason why I do social media in general is to normalize the day-to-day life. You know, like you can be strong and scared. You can be successful and not have your shit together. Like you can, I want to normalize these thought processes, these things. And that's why I do it. Like that's literally why I do social media. That's why I'm an influencer. That's why I do content. It's my MO. But sorry, Zeus. So that's a big change, is I want to start vlogging again and be a little bit more authentic in the sense of like I said, peeling back the curtain and showing you guys more about like my day to day. Straight Outta Cosmo is getting a new platform because I didn't like our old platform, and it's going to change. And we have a new program coming out, and we have different education coming out. I'm going on another education tour. We're doing a virtual education tour. I'm going to be I want to show up for my community a lot differently now. So those are the two biggest changes. And along the way, I think I'll figure out everything else. But for right now, I'm scared to post this because it's very vulnerable. It's very honest. And obviously you guys will see this soon because I'm not going to be a chicken shit and not post it. But I appreciate you guys listening to this video. I know that it's long. I needed to do it like this because I just needed to rip the Band-Aid off and get the thought process out and just talk about it and just get it off my chest. And yeah, I welcome you to this new version of myself, this new uncharted territory, this new soft, quiet, calm version of myself. I'm still the unapologetic Lisa. I still don't give a fuck about much. I still don't give a fuck about a lot of things. But I'm doing it in a much different way. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hope you subscribe, like. I don't even know how to end YouTube videos. Subscribe, like, and tell all your friends or what the fuck ever. Anyways, I love every single one of you guys. I don't really know what's going on here. I love every single one of you guys, and welcome to this new version of Lisa. Okay, bye!